The cool thing about this, Tom, was it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is going to record all night long. So any remark Dad makes, you guys are all going to hear it. Saying like, this guy's a jerk, he doesn't know what he's doing. Like, we're going to know it all. So I should be orange, red, and yellow in there, yeah?
Yes.
All right, so everything around me is blue and black. Right. Obviously, the things behind me are colder than me. Skin and flesh are going to be the hottest things in a picture always. So if we take me out of the picture, it's going to fluctuate. See how the tree up there now is kind of going to change those oranges and reds? So that's really what we're looking for. It's going to fluctuate based on whatever's inside the screen. The camera's down here at the bottom corner facing me right now. So with that being said, we're looking for those blue things to start moving on their own, and or black. Now later on when we get to another location, I'll show you a video I caught a few weeks ago. It's a stone wall like this, but 2 live people walk this way, and then 2 people that are black in color walk this way. And there's always a person in reference to kind of give us that, like, it was really cool footage. So you're going to hold that horizontal all night long.
Okay.
The red square means that it's, you're going to be the camera guy.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, other way.
There you go. You got it.
There you go.
There you go.
Now your hand's over the camera. There you go.
There you go.
Perfect. So do you see the red square?
Yep.
It means it's recording. If that turns to a circle, tell me and hit it again.
Okay.
And then I have to splice videos together, and then Dad's the jerk because it takes me longer to splice video, and then everybody's data's delayed. So, since you guys were already excited about the spirit boxes, let's get those out. Nope. All right. Mallory, was it?
Mallory,
Look at me. I'm remembering names.
You're doing good.
Cole's geeking out over here. He's so excited.
This one's a little different than your normal typical spirit box. So your TV shows have that very staticky,
Yes.
it's all static. So that's so they can only hear disembodied voices. That's a literal ghost coming through and giving us their voice. I have this one slowed down. So the radio chatter comes through.
Okay.
The radio chatter might give us messages. Think of it as Bumblebee from Transformers. Remember how Bumblebee talked to the radio?
Yeah.
It's the same principle. I don't care what gender it is. I don't care how they said it. They could say, everybody's dead, but it means everybody's dead. I don't care. It's about the message of the words.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this one specifically is going to be that it records the entire radio suite for us.
Okay.
So even when I'm talking and I say, let's cut the spirit box, it's still recording at a nice even level, and it's not recording anything outside the radio suite. So in the morning, I go through our hotspots and look at those timestamps, and I give you markers. So if I don't catch anything in those markers, then I still give you a few things to teach you how to listen to the whole thing in its entirety.
Okay.
So that way you guys at least have something to go off of, like, that's what makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and set it up real quick, and literally all you'll have to do is turn the volume up and down.
I can do that.
Super easy. We're going to go more into spirit boxes at the next location too, because there's methods to this. It's not always Zach Bagan screaming of, why'd you kill Joey? You know, whatever he's going to scream at you. So, alright, skeptic.
Skeptic, yeah.
As soon as I find it, there it is. Alright, EMF meters. This usually, I'll usually give the skeptic either the camera or this guy. So I do that because I like to hear the skeptic's comments all night long. It's just scary. But this in particular measures 3 different types of electromagnetic fields. Okay, they use the same model on the TV shows, but they never actually explain it.
Right.
There's 3 different types. The first one's natural, it comes from the earth. That's why it's green. It's not doing anything. The next one is going to be from man-made objects, wiring, cell phones, parking meters. It's going to give us a pulse. We don't want that either. Okay, you start seeing something go a little erratic where you can't make a rhythm out of it. That's when you need to speak up. It doesn't make any noise, it doesn't vibrate, you just have to watch the lights. I want a Christmas tree out of it, and we'll figure it out whether we'll debunk it or not. So I'm like, oh, there's a pattern there. It's like 1, 1, then 2. 1, 1,
So
then
just
2.
multiple colors would be going on.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're going to get some color come through. If you were to put that next to a parking meter or my cell phone, it's going to give off a pulse. It's going to make it go all the way up to orange in intervals, and you're going to see that interval. We want it to be a little nuts.
Okay.
Just watch it.
Alright, what did Jana and Cole get? Let's just...
Now, I'm going to give you guys another spirit box anyway.
Okay.
Now, I usually put 2 people on this, so you're going to have to help them out. Because this one doesn't record. So the 2 of you are going to have to verify each other.
Okay.
So when you hear something, it's obvious. Did you hear Jed? Or whatever name's going to come through. Sorry, just the first thing that popped in my head. Alright, so this one literally, the speaker moves however you want it to. Okay. There's a button on the back of it. You can't control the volume. It's turn it off, turn it on. So when I say spirit box is off, you just hit the button again.
Okay.
So obviously when I'm talking, I don't like to shout, as you guys can probably tell. I'm not a big shouter. That's why I also don't do groups of 20, because that's ridiculous. I wouldn't have a voice.
Right.
Who's left? Mom needs something, don't you?
Oh, I'm good. If there's nothing.
Oh no, I got it. I'm Santa Claus over here.
Yeah, this bag is full of all these ghost secrets.
Well, I have lasers too. Lasers can get Nick in a lot of trouble.
Why? Why?
There's laser laws in Charleston.
Really?
Oh, really?
Like, it's a night in jail and a $500 fine.
Really?
If it goes the wrong way. And my lasers are pretty bright.
Wow.
So I'll demonstrate one.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know.
I'm all about breaking the rules. I think we should do lasers.
My wife is not going to be hip to Nick going to jail. So, I normally joke that this one is the neuralizer from Men in Black. It's a ghost hunting tour. I have my full group. You're probably looking for Bulldog. They're down the road.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
That way.
So this one.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So what this guy actually does is it helps us see things we can't see with the naked eye. Obviously, we can't see the laser lights in between the pen and the ground until something passes through it.
Right.
Okay, so this one, I've actually caught quite a bit with this one. They're little blips. Like, they literally, it's real quick. If you just see the tip of my finger going through there, that's exactly what it looks like.
Okay.
Huh.
Now, again, this one gets Nick in a lot of trouble.
Why are they illegal? What's the...
This one will shoot all the way up East Bay Street on Harris Teeter, and I can see it perfectly clear. So if a car's coming back down, oh yeah, this thing goes pretty far.
Really?
So,
I want to see it go far.
Alright, no, that's an expensive car. Probably has sensitive. Alright, so see that sign right there? I'm going to go as slow as I can. I mean, it'll go far. Like,
That's cool.
yeah. Now, this one stays pretty strong, and it's not even fresh batteries in it. So those batteries are probably 4 or 5 tours old. So
Wow.
it's probably got a good 2-3 hours of use out of it already. Fresh batteries, yeah, I can shine it all the way up to Harris Teeter.
Oh,
That's cool.
yeah.
This guy is a little different because it shoots red squares.
Okay.
Now this one, when we catch something here, I can put that photo in 3D software and then create a full 3D view of what we caught.
Okay.
I haven't caught anything with this guy yet because it's still relatively new to the tour, but both lasers usually go to the same person so I can keep tabs on them.
Okay.
But we're going to go with something else. Actually, these are our... Okay, so they all overpaid, and they're not going to have as much fun as y'all. Can you tell I had competitors in town?
No, we know. We found out.
Yeah. Well, we've done lots of tours, and
Yeah. They down there, they'll actually say that all tours in Charleston are good, just to kind of keep up the reputation.
Yeah.
But I hear the comments when I'm out,
Yeah.
because I'm the lone wolf.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just me out there. You know, I left a 6-figure job to do this. Like, it's literally just me out there. I have a backup partner that basically holds the insurance, but that's all he does. And I'm breaking away from him in January.
Okay.
So
Nice.
Stories in the Cemetery was mine to begin with.
okay, that's what we did in Magnolia, wasn't it? No. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
You're in charge of debunking whatever Tom finds on the camera.
Okay.
I don't make things up. This one only touches, right? I don't know what the temperature is between the gun and the red dot.
Okay.
That's where this guy comes into play.
Okay.
So this is an ambient thermometer through a probe at the top. So let's say Tom says, hey Nick, there's a blue spot on that wall and I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to test the wall to make sure it's the same temperature all the way across. When it is, I now know that it's between Tom and the wall. So I'm going to take the probe here and I'm
Okay.
going to literally move it until I find it.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So then I might have a cold spot right here.
Yeah.
10
Okay.
degrees is where I get excited.
Okay.
10 degrees or more. Now the top, this isn't the most active item. This one you can almost like purse it or pocket if you got
Okay.
one. But the top number is humidity.
Okay.
There is more to ghost hunting with humidity, but we're not getting into all of that tonight. It's a little bit more scientific. But then the bottom number is the actual ambient temperature.
Got it.
So those both go to you.
Okay.
I'm going to use a few things on my phone because I have to be involved too. So, first thing I'm going to use is a backup EMF in case Mara's, right? Did I get that right? Mara?
Yeah, Mara.
Look at me
Yep,
go.
You got it.
I'm getting better with that. The writer can't remember his own characters. So, I'm in school right now too, so I'm working on a master's degree, which means I have to have a novel finished by the time I'm done. I'm on chapter 3.
Oh,
So,
no.
right? And I graduate in like 6 months.
Oh, yikes.
So, in my antagonist, his name is changed from Dominic to Derek 6 times, and I have to keep going back and correcting myself. And my teacher keeps catching it, and she's just like, what are you doing with the names? I'm like, they both start with D and end with K. What do you want me to do? Alright, so anyway, I have a backup EMF in case yours dies. It does happen, and it's good in a pinch, but it's not always necessary. I do use 2 different spirit boxes on my phone. The first one is going to give us words in the center, okay? So it's also going to save those to a list. This is the last tour. They had 66 terms. That's about average, between 50 to 60. I'm going to clear them out because I've already emailed it to myself so I can upload it to their data. However, 80% of this is bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. Okay, so it's up to me to find that 5 to 20% that actually means something and give you guys verifiable links of where I got my information. It could be based on one of you guys. It could be based on the location. Something in our tour where we had to turn right and it giving me the word right or don't go, you know, something along those lines. So it could be something that's just happening in the moment. It happens all the time. So the other one that I use is a reverse spirit box. So this one, I debunked this one as well. And you guys are going to actually have a list of all the devices that I use and all the free apps that I use at the top of your data page.
Oh, cool.
So again, this is all about giving back to you guys.
Yeah.
So this one, I've debunked it. When I put it, I have enough software to analyze EVPs and whatnot. So I put it in there and it plays things in reverse. So I played it forward. It's literally a man and a woman saying random words. I don't know how long the loop is. I had it set it for over an hour and didn't hear the same word twice. So when something comes through in forward motion in real time, we obviously have an intelligent answer. So I'm going to turn it up so you guys can get the gist of what it sounds like, because that's what you're going to hear on your regular audio, because it doesn't record. So kind of creepy, but very effective. So a few weeks ago, and I'll just give you I know it's a lot of teaching train data.
Oh,
sorry.
that's okay.
I get those size. A few weeks ago, I caught this EVP. I was talking about a woman from England, and it didn't make sense to me in real time, but then somebody actually explained it to me, and it made perfect sense when I looked at the data the next morning. Baked beans breakfast. Baked beans breakfast.
Yeah.
So, the red spirit box told me I'll fix you, and then the digital spirit box gave me the word tea. So I'll fix you, baked beans breakfast, and tea. That would have been an English breakfast.
Okay.
It still is today, but I was talking about a woman that lived there in the 1700s.
Okay.
Nice.
So see how I have to look at this stuff
Yeah,
in the morning
right,
to see where it
right.
all links up? So,
Yeah.
and again, I can't make this stuff up. Like, it just happens.
That's cool.
I can't guarantee it'll happen again, but hopefully it does. So let me get the other spirit box running and turn the volume down. So we start here for a reason. This place is haunted. It used to be called Big John's. I'm going to zip up my bag while I tell you guys this story. So Big John was a football player from the 1947 New York Giants, and he used to sit in the back of the bar. We're going to learn more about that thermal imaging camera too. It can't see through windows, just so you know.
Yep.
So anyway, Big John sat in the back of the bar, and he would tell the bartender if the cadets that came over from the Citadel were of age or not. One night, 2 guys come in, they're not of age. Big John tells the bartender to cut them off. They leave pretty ticked off, and then they come back the next night and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. They wrestled a little bit, a couple shots were fired. Big John got shot in the neck, and there was a bullet hole from that fight in the front of the bar. It's the bullet hole that holds the paranormal activity. So, at times, when people sit in front of this bar, they start to not feel well. Queasy, dizzy, headaches, all of those little tiny quirks. I bring it up on purpose, because I don't know how paranormal activity is going to affect anyone. Even my disbeliever over here. So, if any of you...
sensitive, so
She is,
I'm sure I'll
yeah.
puke when I get there.
If anybody's not feeling well, you have to let me know. We got to get you to a safer place. The first time somebody passed out on me on a nice cool night like this, I was in CPR class the next day.
Oh, geez, yeah.
So I am
right.
certified, but I never want to use it.
Right.
So luckily, the next times that those happened, and yes, there were multiple times, I've always had a nurse on board, so I've never had to use it.
Oh, geez, yeah.
So,
No
again,
nurse here.
no nurse here? Wonderful. I'll pass out. I'm not giving you
Lifeguard,
that.
lifeguard. Yeah.
Okay, we'll take that.
Yeah.
So, the other story that happens here, guys, is the mantle above your heads. We had a big earthquake in 1868. If you've taken any other kind of tour with us in Charleston, you already knew that.
Yeah.
Right.
This is where the first death occurred. So he said that mantle fell off in the front of the building, struck somebody in the head, and his ghost is said to be seen right here on East Bay Street. I don't have that proof. I'm taking the hearsay from the previous owner of this bar. He used to see shadows out here after closing. So he used to come out and chat with me while I was waiting on my groups. Pretty cool guy. Pretty sad to see him go. I don't know what they're doing to this place now, but they've been working on it since I got back to work.
Oh,
So, you guys ready to go ghost hunting?
Yeah. Let's go.
Sure? You ready?
I'm not a disbeliever, I'm just skeptical about it. Does that make sense? I don't know.
No, 'cause I want to see the differences.
Alright, so I gotta click this
parties can be part of it. But you guys, you do what you need to do. I didn't put a camera out amongst you.
Wait,
So,
it's going off.
oh, look at that. So what's around you? Let's try to debunk it first before we get into what's actually going on here.
Okay, your phone isn't right by you.
My phone, her phone would have to be right here
Okay.
in order for it to make it do that.
And it would have to make a noise, right?
I don't see any wires.
No wires.
Things tweaking.
You're standing on a gas line or a sewer line.
See anything, Tom?
No, I'm looking.
So that's a pretty strong
Yeah, now
reading.
you got red, yeah.
The last one we only got it up to orange in here. So
No, it's been going until the last one too.
nice.
Seeing like
I know you're skeptical.
Yeah.
That's why I gave it to him.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what's going on here. First off, there's a restaurant over there, a cafe called Crew Cafe. They claim to have a suicidal haunting. I don't have any records of that house because it used to be a slave home. It's really hard to get titles and deeds and all that kind of stuff. I like to know a little bit before I go into an investigation. I did get an EMF reading upstairs. I could probably debunk it with some old wiring. But and I also don't know what's going on with the house. It's 2 stories, which means that's not the slave home. So they either added onto it, it's an expansion, it's a whole reconstruct. I have no idea. So I'll probably pass on. I was supposed to do it already, but I haven't gotten back to them, which means I'm probably not going to do it. For your history buffs, there's a stop sign right past Brew Cafe. So picture the peninsula of Charleston. It was much skinnier back in Revolutionary War times. The ship rolls up, the water's always going to be this way, shoots a cannon, the cannonball lands at the stop sign. No deaths, no tragedies, no paranormal activity, just one of those weird history nuggets. And it used to be it was a neighborhood, just like it is now. So it had a little bit of an impact when it landed. We did find pieces of that cannonball. Wait, there's something tugging on their shirt, purses maybe. Just got the word tug, which is interesting.
I just pulled my thing away from me because it was
It's
over
gonna be
here.
all about you tonight.
It was no, it was like sitting right here for some reason, and I don't know how it got here, and then I just moved
How
it
old are
back.
you?
Why?
I'm just asking.
23?
The number 30 just came up.
Oh, no one here is 30.
I am definitely not 30. So I won't even reveal how old I am because you guys won't believe me anyway. So anyway, did the history piece right, and you're gonna get little history nuggets from me throughout the night. I kind of try to appease everybody.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, she is.
I just funny because you said tug and I like moved my sweater thing. Nothing better tug me.
Mara.
What's weird is I've been doing this tour for over about a year and a half now, and I just now started getting people telling me, because I don't try to make this a scary tour. I really don't. It's all about the scientific method. So some people have been telling me their purses have been moved. One guy said somebody brushed up against my jacket the other night. I was like, okay. And it was in the same spot. So I contacted that other guest. Obviously, I have her phone number. I said, hey, tell me again what location, just so I can remember. So she's like, it was right there by that one alley. I'm like, yep, that's exactly where it happened. But anyway, so let me tell you where you were at now. This is the Red Barn lot. Obviously, we're standing next to a red barn. The horses for your carriage rides are in there.
Yep,
Right.
we
They're
went
still
there.
in there. Okay, so your laser is the only one out right now. So we want to keep it off the barn. Like,
Okay.
basically out of the windows. You have one dot. I'm pretty sure you can control it. When there's 100 green ones, that's when I have to watch the kids. I don't give the lasers to kids. So anyway, it's also the same red barn lot where they kept the horses that delivered milk to Charleston. So that kind of dates it for you. 1860s, 1920s. That's my guesstimate, because I can't really find any true history other than that little fact. Let's go. That's all the history I have for this place. That's why it's a great practice area. So let's talk about spirit boxes for a second. So we have 2 of them out, which is weird on a group this small, but you guys seem like you're going to be hip to this. So spirit boxes. This isn't Zach Bagans where he's going to come right out and who killed who. We're going to start off with something you might know. What color is the barn?
Okay.
If you don't hear an answer after 30 seconds, you're going to ask the same question again. Can you tell me what color the barn is? You're going to do that 2, 3, maybe 4 times max. They're not inside the box. You don't have to talk into the boxes. It's a simple conversation. She's got EMF going on, which means somebody's hanging out here. It's an open conversation. It's literally like that person standing in front of you. Okay, you want to tell me what color the barn is? Tell me what's inside the barn. It's a conversation. So that's how spirit boxes are going to go. Now, we're, again, starting off with something easy. Ask questions you know the answers to in a practice space like this. The next spot, I'm going to give you some examples of questions, and I'm not going to tell you what the answers are until after we're done, to see if anything actually pops up to prove the validity of what's actually happening. So, we're going to stay away from yes and no questions too. yes and no questions, the phonetic language. S and O are two of the most common sounds we have. So is somebody here? Houses. We think we heard the word yes. So we stay away from yeses and no questions. And you're getting a lot of smoke. It's crazy. Because again, we didn't get that much on my 7 o'clock.
Maybe someone else should hold it for
Mara.
just see what it might do.
We might actually have teammates from Big John. Sometimes I get Stable Boys. Sometimes I get whoever. This is a random lot. I don't have any answers other than what comes through our boxes. From an imaging camera, we're literally going to go through 2 slow swoops. So 2 of you are going to kind of separate from you guys are actually going to separate too. You should probably just hang out with them. So that way you're not alone. But spirit boxes should stay away from each other when they're both running, so that way you're not crossing the screens, bad Ghostbuster joke, good stuff. But with the camera, we're going to try to keep a person in focus at all times.
Okay.
Only because it's a great point of reference.
Yeah. Okay.
So that way, I'm going to be, well, any of us are going to be the hottest thing in here. I didn't want to sound all modest and whatever. But anyway, always try to keep a person in view, because then you can see everything else around it a little bit more clear. You're literally going to give him some different temperatures from the different materials. We have brick,
Okay.
we have wood, we have metal on the barn. Just keep away from the windows. You have asphalt. It's going to be anywhere between 3 to 7 degrees difference. Yours is going to come up lower. So if your temperature starts to drop lower than what hers says, then we obviously have something going on there.
Okay.
We pull out the yellow one.
Okay.
Again, doesn't see through windows. We're not going to be able to peer into buildings. What else do you have going on? I think that's about it, right? Yeah. I'm going to basically bounce around with all of you guys.
Okay.
But I'm going to let you guys start your laps, and then
Okay.
if you want to hang out with them,
Here, Jan, I'll go with this guy
start off
first.
with your spirit box.
Go that way first. So I gotta keep you in focus.
Trying to break
So
up
I'm
the
just
family.
No.
doing my laser, right?
No, you just, yeah, I'll tell you when. Because I'm going to use you as my reference.
Okay.
Okay, now walk to your left. The car threw me off too for a minute.
Is it shiny?
Slow down a little bit, Jan. What's your temperature fluctuating from like 77 to 82?
Mine?
Yeah, or just the background temperature.
What about like the ground? He said, didn't he say the ground and the bricks and the...
That's all. I got you against the barn.
Yeah, but didn't he say...
There, keep going. I gotta get a little more distance between you and me. Give me some. There you go. Perfect. You're going too fast for me.
Go to the left.
Okay. Oh, whoops. Hold on.
What?
I'm just getting different temperatures now. I hit the bushes and stuff. '81, '82, '81. It's pretty steady here, Jana. Hold on.
No fluctuations?
Pretty steady, Jana.
I think it's going down a lot.
If I hit them, it's like once I get right on a
Are
person.
you happy or mad that we're here?
Nothing?
No?
Are you happy that we are here?
Got you to say, are you happy
Waiting
or
for you guys to screw up so I can correct you. All right, so
Are you happy
show you a quick video of what something you
or
might be
mad
looking
that
for
we are
on here.
here?
Hey, quick question.
Yeah.
You had to watch all the shows. Like, I don't like Zach Bagans at all. I mean,
I can't stand him.
Okay. Who do you like? Who, if you had all those shows, which show you think is probably the most accurate for what you do?
Probably Grant Wilson's Ghost
Oh,
Hunt.
really? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
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 Grant
You love-
comes here quite often.
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
he likes to go to Magnolia Cemetery.
What color is the bar?
So this is a video I caught in the next location we're going to go to. You're going to see two people walking this way. See their heads above the wall?
Uh-huh.
All right.
So we're going to fast forward a
Or
few
sad
seconds.
that we are here.
And you're going to see two black heads going the opposite way. Oh, I think I messed it up. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick. Yeah.
But you see how I had somebody in reference to?
Yeah.
Are you
Okay.
So that's how I was
happy
able to
or sad
verify. And this
we
is
are
all the
here?
same video. It's only 30 seconds long. So two heads going across the one way. Do it again. So very fast. And as it comes up again.
What color is the bar?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there they are.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
That's cool.
again, that's kind of what we're looking for. And the
Okay.
reason why those people called me to that corner to begin with was because they thought they saw a shadow.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So it was kind
Ah.
of like I went up there to try to debunk. We worked with the temperature
Yeah.
guns, and I was like, just stand back and shoot the video. And then we had all kinds of things happen while we were up there, but
Where
that I
are
caught the
we?
next morning.
Okay.
It's kind of a really cool. Little...
Ah. Cool.
Are you upset?
All right. So how are you doing with your spirit box? I didn't show you the volume. Figure it out.
I pressed the button, but I don't remember.
Where are we at?
All right.
I'm sorry. I didn't show you where
That's
it's
all
at.
right.
Coming through. So they're doing the whole. So straightforward.
I'm trying to get used to what I'm seeing. Like there's like a window there that comes up differently. Yeah, there's windows you can tell the different temperature.
Okay, I'm turning.
Okay.
Temperature's still the same?
Yeah. About the right thing.
You can turn it up a little bit, just not enough to spook the ponies. They got fans going, so they won't be able to hear too much. Getting anything. Everything very on 43.
What is your name?
Still getting a lot of colors, Mara?
Yeah, it's been like the full lights over there.
You know what's interesting, Jana? Hold on. Turn the other way.
How did you
Sideways.
die?
I can almost take the temperature difference of the titanium rods in your neck.
Huh.
What is your name?
They're colder. That's it. Nothing.
What is your name?
You know what's interesting with this? She's had medical condition where she's got titanium rods in her neck, and she turns sideways. I can tell the difference in the color.
Really?
Yeah. 'Cause it turned.
Are you
See
happy
it?
or
Oh, wow.
sad?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That is weird. That camera means something else for this tour. So when I started doing this, I literally had an EMF reader, a voice recorder, and the SP7 spirit box, the black one that they were using. That was it. And I was taking groups of 12 to 15 out. And it was kind of like, I need more stuff. I got to keep this going.
Right.
So that red spirit box, I love that one.
That's
So
cool.
I can turn it on mute and go, like I just got back from the Flight 93 Memorial in Shanksville.
Oh, yeah.
And I turned it on, threw it in my pocket, listened to it later. The camera, I turned it sideways, threw it in my cargo pocket so the camera was just
Okay.
sticking up, and it had an hour and a half video to watch to see if anything came up. So again, I still go. It's
Anything?
I got a lot out of the spirit boxes coming with the red one and this one, because I had this one just running on my clip. I had like Americans versus Iraqi. It was a big production.
Really?
Like, there was a lot there. But that was actually an hour-long episode for me because I launched it on 9/11.
Nice.
Okay.
We'll have
that
to go
was-
on and look.
It's actually right at the top of your data page.
Okay.
So, again,
That's cool.
yeah, there's a lot of data out there and a lot of weird places I've been to. I still have more. I was in Gettysburg that week too. So I'm still wrapping those up. It's so busy with closing homework.
Yeah.
Put out another
Too
thing
hard.
in 7 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's too crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Like this is a rough class. They're really pressuring me.
That's not bad.
It's like, really, in October?
Yeah.
And they normally have 2 tours a night anyway. Ever since we opened back up for COVID,
Yeah.
I've been at like 65 to 75% capacity. I can do, but October I've been at 90 to 95.
Great.
Yeah. Like I don't have any complaints because it's the same amount of work. It's just
Right.
the amount of people that come.
Right.
So,
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Everybody got a gist of how their devices work?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm only using mine unless if he gets a different temperature.
Not necessarily. You could still kind of help them out with the infrared gun and kind of give them like the base temperature of what you're seeing of different materials,
Okay.
you know, that kind of thing. So that way he can judge what he's looking at.
It's calming down a little bit.
Oh, this is
Yeah, it's calming down a little bit.
okay. Oh, you're still buzzing.
It is, but it's been going down to just the one light sometimes.
And you'll see in certain areas that we go to tonight, I say, hey, this is normally like a 0 ground EMF. Oh, there's the word rope. Almost makes sense with colors. But if they would be green,
Right.
Or if it's suicide, I asked him how you died. Rope. Noose. Something.
okay, so I've been looking into another place, but it's a really recent death that happened in one of these buildings nearby, and it was a suicide by hanging that I know of, and his name is the same as mine. So I've heard my name several times in like these first couple of locations, and I've been diving in. I don't normally tell this story because it's so recent, the family's still alive, and I'm not going to publicize those kind of things. So again, this guy had kids. I just don't put it out there. But again, I'm pretty sure it was I don't think it was like an overdose or anything like that. I'm pretty sure it happened.
Really?
Yeah. So it's an interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll take it. Can't really publicize it, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's full light. I'm like,
Is Mario, you're still going off?
Just a little bit.
Pretty
Now you're calm.
Pretty even, yeah.
calm right now.
I've been here and there, but that's
I gotta have people in my reference to you. That's what I was trying to get tomorrow because he's
So I asked him how it died, and it said rope
did it.
on his.
He's out here tweaking again.
Tweaking.
so this
Whoa.
is the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion site. So I know it's a parking lot. I told you guys we weren't going to all the pretty places tonight. So their mansion would have been in the front facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden would have been lined up right here with the first tree, and then the slave quarters would have been in the back. So who the heck are Charles and Eliza Pinckney? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Charles. The son and the nephew, signers of the Constitution. So that's a big deal for us. This is where the son was raised. I hate politics. I'm not going to get into
Yeah,
all of the
for
things
sure.
that they did. So we're going to talk about Eliza. Eliza got married at a young age to Charles to stay here in the United States. Her father, over in England, baked beans breakfast. This is where that occurred. This is also the video that I showed you, was up in the back corner. So the video I showed them was the 2 heads, the living people, and then the 2 dead people walking the opposite way. But anyway, so she got married at a young age so she could stay here. Dad thought he was dying. He wanted all his kids home. She didn't want to go, so she got hitched. Boring you? I've seen that yawn. Seen
No,
it.
I yawn all the time. I'm so sorry. So I'm always yawning at my tired.
I don't dance when I'm telling my story.
No. These I'm actually very easy. Trust me. You're not losing me like the other one.
Yeah, like the other
You haven't lost me yet.
Yeah.
Good. So anyway, Dad got better, and he starts sending gifts over from England. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. So Eliza's garden is here. She started that cash crop here. Obviously, they had to move it to a plantation inland. And indigo is a big deal for Charleston because it already had a deep gullah culture. So the slaves that were brought over, they knew how to keep it going in our weird weather that fluctuates. So indigo became a huge cash crop for us after the rice plantations went down. It saved Charleston and the colonies. So she used her dad's contacts to actually sell it overseas, which made her a businesswoman at that point. We're talking about 1700s. There's no such thing as a businesswoman back then. Eliza's done a lot of things, and I'm giving you a very brief part of what she's done, but indigo is a big part of it. So you've seen indigo around town, now you know why. A couple weird things about Eliza. She was the second wife named Eliza from Charles. So Chuck screwed that one up. Good job. So they both go by their maiden name. So you can ask Eliza on your spirit boxes what her maiden name was. She's looking up red, crazy. So a lot of times you'll get her maiden name. It's Eliza blank Pinckney. They both go by that, so they don't have the same maiden name, obviously. So we'll see what comes up. Eliza and Charles had 4 kids. Only one was a daughter. You can try to find out what the daughter's name was. You can ask what happened to the mansion. So that one usually comes up pretty often as well. You can ask anything you want to about Eliza's death. How she died, where she buried, how old she was, any of those questions. You know she was not 30. So the number 30 has no relevance to me whatsoever. Numbers, at least to me. And I'm not saying I know everything about all these places we're going to go. I usually learn something new. I look up the number 30 from Big John's teammates and find out it was a name that showed up on another spirit box. That happens all the time too. I don't know football. One night I had the name Tom come up 3 times, 2 different spirit boxes, and then a number came up. When I looked it up the next day, it was Tom Landry. Tom Landry played with Big John in 1948.
Oh.
I didn't know that he was the football coach for the Dallas Cowboys, and I think the word cowboy showed up as well. It was a crazy. I was like, oh, we actually have something famous because it sounded familiar. I just didn't know who he was. So, what else did I have for you guys to ask? I'm actually going to go after Charles. You guys are going to be talking to Eliza. I'm going to try questions with Charles. I don't know if I throw my phone on the ground. If I didn't tell you guys earlier. Oh, look at that! I took a picture. Good job. If I didn't tell you guys earlier, when we're asking questions, the answers can go anywhere. I have 2 points of audio, one on the camera, one on me, 4 spirit boxes running. So I might ask a question that you guys have no clue about, and you turn around and say, what's the number 5? How many people did I bring with me? Evidence is here. You have the answer. Does that make sense to everybody? And we might actually hear EVPs on the audio of the camera as well. So I'm going to see where the spirit boxes go, which is most of you. I want to go in the opposite direction. So again, same thing, stay away from each other. Lasers, you're the only one with a laser. Yeah, that one is strong, can be sensitive to vehicles. So it will set off car alarms if it's over a sensitive vehicle. It's happened in the past, it's never fun. Do me a favor, turn around and face that way. Now hold up your EMF meter like you're going to take a selfie. The light blinking on the back of 5 Church Street Restaurant usually goes in sync with your EMF meter if it's blinking. It wasn't blinking the whole time on my last tour. It's completely random. If you video it, it's usually within 2 frames. This is a very strong paranormal activity place. So you should get a pulse, and then a millisecond later, the pulse goes to the building. You can test it anywhere you want to around here. It's always going to happen. So. All right, go separate. Tell me what you guys hear. The temperature team should be sticking together so you guys can gauge the. That's interesting. So look where they're going, and look at the word that I have on the screen.
Really?
It comes through the. I want to see if they actually go that way. Nope, gonna stop. They were going towards the dumpster.
Ah, yeah.
So again, sometimes it's with things that are actually happening on the floor.
Right, that's cool. Sounds weird.
I still think I'm gonna keep an eye on Mara.
You That's 70.
79, 77. See?
That's 75.
7 at her feet.
And her feet.
Yeah,
75.5.
yeah, it's pretty close.
What happened to your house?
Come on. You can walk it. Walk around a little bit, see if I can. Oh.
What is your maiden name?
What's your temperature between these cars over by the wall?
77. Freaked me out. I didn't know you were next to Mallory. I saw 2 people.
Eliza, what happened to your house?
Give us a sign that you're here. Give us a sign that you are here.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, Mallory.
That's 70 on the ground.
Yeah. It's a little hot. It's low 70s.
Still lost some more. You have 77 on the wall over there?
Yep, 77.
Liza, what was in your garden? Tell me about some of the plants you've had.
I'm trying to look through that wall and everything. Let's go to your mouth right now, I think.
Tell me about your garden. Plants, tools you used. Anything weird?
Nothing.
So I blow that up on my TV
It's
in the
probably
morning.
much
So
easier. Yeah.
my computer screen is pretty large too. I have a desktop, so but I upload it. That's interesting.
Okay. That's really close. It's M-A-R-A.
I figured. It's damn close.
That is really close.
Can you tell me what color Myra's sweater is? I need colors. What color is Mara's sweater? Son, there's something going on with her.
Yeah. Jana, come here. Look at this.
Oh my.
Don't tell her that. That's unique.
This thing has probably like 9,000 words.
Oh my goodness.
So, again, it's limited. Obviously, the English language has way more than that. But I recognize a lot of the same terms. Again, 80% of it is
Yeah. Right.
So, it's not a name I've ever seen before.
Yeah. Ah.
Hey, Jana, come
And
here.
that word tug earlier?
Yeah.
Dealing with her too.
Huh.
What's that? Right there.
Yeah.
That really. Right there. Right in front of it.
Your temperature, yours says 78, mine's, well, I don't know where you're really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does the name Stella mean anything to you guys?
Yours is showing,
See that little black
yours is
spot?
showing 78, and mine's showing 74. That's about right.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not accurate.
All right. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
How close is that? M-I-R-A versus
So tell me what
M-A-R-A?
color Mara's sweater is. Looking for colors.
That's our president.
Any beepers, Mara?
Yep. Hasn't stopped.
Again, they haven't even done an archaeological dig here. They're not going to. They're supposed to be putting a commercial hotel in this location.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We have enough archaeologists in town that would probably do it for free,
Yeah.
just based on the history of the location.
Yeah,
And they're not
right.
going to.
Huh. We did a hunt. We've done it before. Go out in the
Metal
field
detecting.
and metal detect
Yeah.
and stuff, and that's kind of cool too.
This is kind
Well,
of neat.
we'd learn more about that.
See what? I mean, pinpoint a coal. I'm just looking for an anomaly.
Find the old seedlings and bulbs in their
Yeah.
garden.
He's
Yeah.
right.
That would be cool.
He's
Yeah,
walking right
they
there.
will do it.
Huh.
Blows my mind.
That is surprising.
Yeah.
Let me call up
So what are you looking for? Like blue to move?
It's like a black. You see, all these are the same temperature. It's like 79, 80 degrees. And so you see coal at the bottom. He's red and yellow. I'm looking for like blacks and other. It'll be a temperature anomaly.
Some radio static.
This is cool.
It is really cool.
Now, how are you
You
doing?
gotta tell her.
I haven't even been looking. What?
He was talking to Spirit Box. Your name came up.
No, it didn't.
It did too. It said
Well, you know, Mara
Mara.
actually means devil.
M-I-R-A is what it says.
M-I-R-A.
M-A-R.
What?
M what? I must
M-I-R-A.
get something. I'm not getting
It said,
it.
what color is Mara's sweater?
Cool.
So, I didn't tell you guys yet, but I did hear the word burn earlier when I was standing up in that spot. So,
Is that what happened to the house?
the house burned
Oh,
down
okay.
in 1861 in a great fire.
Okay.
So, and it burned down on the second floor right above there. So I did get that one for sure. Did you hear anything on yours?
No.
Nothing at all. Okay. I'm sure you guys all told Mara that we
Yeah.
had most of her name show up.
Yeah.
We were trying to get, since you were somewhat of a focus, what color is your sweater? So we didn't hear anything, but again, we were kind of chatting. So we'll see what actually comes up next. So the answers to the questions, and you didn't hear anything yet. Eliza died at the age of 70 from breast cancer in Philadelphia, and that's also where she's buried. So she's not even here. She comes here to hang out. That's why we don't go to cemeteries, because who's going to hang out where they're buried?
Right.
We're
right.
walking through one anyway. Charleston is a giant cemetery as a city itself. And the fires of war and famine here to kill a small army. Daughter's name was Harriet. Eliza Lucas Pinckney was the one that planted the indigo. Eliza Lamb Pinckney was the first wife. So those L sounds is usually what we're looking for there, Lamb and Lucas. What else did I ask you guys? So Charles, when I usually go after him, it's usually because sometimes if I ask him to, he'll put his name right on my screen. So as long as and I did get the word technology when I was telling them talk to any one of the boxes we're holding, and the word technology showed up. So did you click the button in the center? Shut it off.
Sorry.
That thing was pretty
I
bright
have
earlier.
been pushing it a little. I didn't know it was the button.
Yeah, that's the only
Okay.
button on there, on and off.
Okay.
Didn't catch anything weird on the thermal.
No.
Okay, so again, I blow that up on my TV to kind of watch it further in more detail, or my computer screen based on how much I sleep in, because I'm a writer and can do that. So we'll see what we actually captured there. We are going to go 4 blocks up to Lodge Alley. Again, I know it's kind of a 5-minute walk in between the middle of your tour, but we're going to legitimate haunted locations. Your spirit boxes, listen for names. I'll explain when we get there. Your EMF is going to go crazy from the parking meters. Don't get excited that they're haunted. The ghosts aren't taking up our parking spaces as much as I want to blame them.
It's okay. It hasn't stopped lighting up. So it's
Well, and you're going to see, like, throughout the tour, it's going to be pretty dead. So when something does happen to it, it's going to be exciting. This location should be a grand finale for me. But I like to start at Big John's to give you the queasiness and headache warning. So that's why we start down here. Because that way we're not doing it at the end of the tour. All right. I'm trying to think. Was there anything else that I asked you guys to ask? What questions were you asking?
I asked about the house, how she died, communicate with us,
Okay.
what age she died.
Same type of questions.
names, daughter.
Last tour I did get the word rose, so which is a plant. You get a lot of things around plants and botany and that kind of thing.
I did ask about the garden too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do have a little
What
bit
do
of a
you see,
headache, but I
Tom?
kind of had a headache on sick.
Well, let's get you moving because
See?
that's probably what's making it worse. Is the amount of activity coming out of this place. So
Okay.
it's definitely a masked area if they're still eating outside because we're going to be
Let's see if
going
you
up
just
these
block.
stages.
Oh no, she was
Did
blocking
you see
something.
Tom? Huh?
No, you were just blocking something.
Nothing behind her.
I'm like, I don't know if I
Have you got anything yet now?
You can hear the radio,
Okay.
but like, see right now it's dead.
Okay.
But then you'll hear little bits of stations come through,
Okay.
or big loud words.
How you doing?
Figured it was going to be you.
You're funny.
You're funny.
John, did you want to go?
No, I'm good.
Yeah. Trying to get you guys here just before they close because they close at 10 during the week and 11 on the weekends.
That is so weird that Mira
Yeah,
came up
Mira.
versus Mara.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I can't see the actual vocabulary. I gotta wait for everything to pop up. Again, using this app twice a night and then reviewing it the next day. I mean, I know what comes up. I know common terms. I was talking about the slave homes and the word workers came up. So it could have almost be like, because she did respect her servants. So it could have been a correction. They weren't slaves, they were workers.
Yeah.
But I also look at it as a whole. So I look for almost like a sentence in there, like what could match up. I got identical, and then there's pair up here. So identical pair could be a set of twins. So I know that they're kind of spaced apart, but that's how I look at the list. But if there's a specific, like the word John comes up, I could give you the link that, hey, this was Big John's bar.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I always give you something
Sorry about
clarifying.
that. I'm really glad we stopped there.
You're late.
I had to go so badly.
All right.
Now if the word P comes up tomorrow. Okay, this is much better.
What?
A little bit to her. You know?
Yeah, I just used some. Thank you.
I'm sure she hasn't got anything there.
I mean, I think literally
What are you supposed to be listening for?
answers to my question.
Oh, okay. So it's actually going to answer you, but doesn't spell it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll say like a word.
Okay.
Like bits of radio come through because it's literally just scanning the channel. So you can see it scanning all the frequencies.
Nope.
They like Mara.
Well, Amanda's baby.
We don't know the name. I don't even think we know the sex.
This is too fun.
Henry's are back to 5 church.
It'd be really interesting.
My baby cousin, not baby anymore, but his name was Peyton, and he had a twin brother.
Identical pair. That would be the words we got earlier. Identical came off earlier, and then pair came off later.
He's not a baby anymore. He's like 10 years old, but he's like my baby.
It is. Seriously, Mara. What's
While
that?
you're walking,
That's what I'm doing. We're,
Oh yeah, we're fast.
yeah, I'm trying to. My arms getting, my shoulders getting sore. And what happens here is, like when I was watching Mom, I wasn't watching you at all. And then all of a sudden I saw another person on the screen.
It scared you?
What the heck is that? And it was you.
Yes. Okay.
Oh really?
I was trying to keep this on Mom.
Yeah.
It's funny, you look around the neck, you can see what the titanium bars are.
No.
Yeah, you can to the culprit.
Where?
I'll show you. Here. Oh, sure. Yeah, when she turns sideways. You can see it. It turns blue. Yeah.
No, that's what you can ask.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Get it, Mara.
Yeah. Mara's our picture taker.
Oh, good. Okay, now I'm gonna lag a little bit here. Yeah, right now.
Cold right there.
I can almost feel something, yeah.
Stop us here and give everybody the gist of what's happening. So this is Lodge Alley. This is one of the oldest streets we have in Charleston. All these bricks you just walked over, none of them are the same shape or size, and none of them are spaced the same way. Handmade, hand-laid, you can tell. This used to be a residence. So these two giant buildings that we're standing in between weren't here. They had shotgun houses down there. So you should go through the front and go out the back. So the peninsula of Charleston was much skinnier. So the water's that way. Low tide comes through. This is not going to be a very pleasant place to live at all. So the people were considered lower class. You know that because they did an archaeological dig in between the bricks on some of the tools and silverware and pieces of their clothing, and were able to determine that they were lower class. other piece that's here is that I get names that pop up because I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived here. The names Benjamin and John often show up. Benjamin by himself, but sometimes he's accompanied by John. The funny thing about that is that two of the names out of the 4 residents from 1801. That's not a census list, so it's literally just a ledger. So it's name, occupation, year. That's it. That's all I got. So sometimes we hear their occupation, seamstress, grocer, mariner, those kind of jobs that they had down there. It says window for some reason. I don't know if you want to shoot a window. And you normally won't, so that does happen. That's happened. Again, somebody's got to watch electronics clicking, the hotel room right here, so forth and so on. Also keep in mind this hotel, all the hotels in Charleston have those there. All of them. None of them give me free rooms to verify them, so I'm not going to talk about them. So read what you will, but again, I'll be knocking on doors again in January. Now that Stories in the Cemetery is a little bit more established, I'm getting my name out there pretty quick.
You said every hotel has a ghost.
Pretty much. They all have their own story because they want to sell it. They want to sell the room. So
Like that pink one.
Like every hotel has a ghost.
they all have
They
their own
say,
story.
or like you're saying it is.
I can't be saying I can't verify it.
But all these people are saying it.
You're talking about
That pink hotel?
there's a pink house. The pink house is actually the oldest building. It's not on record that way. The oldest building that's on record is the Powder Magazine. The pink house is like maybe 500 square feet, 3 rooms, living area, bedroom, bathroom. That's it. It's all that's there. Goes for about 2 years. Because it's the oldest story. Yeah, they don't have the records of when it was built. So that was built in. And it is haunted. I have done just outside with my tours and matches, and I get quite a bit of it. So the Masons also used to be here, just so you guys know. We were in open space, the buildings right here, so they would be down here on a hot, sticky night in Charleston, and it does get pretty muggy. Like, when we talk about thick humidity, it's thick. My summer nights, I'm glad I only do 1 tour a night.
Yeah, right.
I'm out here in shorts and rolling up my sleeves because I'm sweating, carrying a bag around.
Yeah.
But at any rate, like, this is an interesting place. I get shadow figures. If you're taking pictures, I normally get green orbs. Green orbs show up a lot in this area, and that is a peace and prosperity color. Oops. Oh, you're good. You're good. So I did a big study on orbs. So all the colors have meanings. If we actually capture something in your photos and you want to send it over to me, if I have the camera out, I try to get 2 pictures coming in, 2 pictures going out. And then the orbs will show up everywhere. I actually have a video of green orb floating over there and it's twisting around and then moving out. Yeah, crazy. So that was sent to me by a guest certificate. Wow, that's pretty nice. Yes.
Those were all over the cemetery when I was taking it to the other one.
The ones that I had, and just whenever I turn the camera out, and he actually captures that, they go into evidence footage so that way you can keep track of them.
It's something here. I think I hit it.
Words that I caught here.
Thanks.
Yep.
Careful with those
So that's not a real word.
That's one. Alright, so we're going to walk through here pretty slow. You're going to actually get some more video for us. Listen to the spirit boxes. When we reach the end of this, you might want to take pictures going backwards, but we're going to be in a residential area, so just kind of keep the spirit boxes at an audible level. You will have to cup it if it's too loud. I don't think it will be. But definitely no red laser once we get out there. So let's go see what we can catch this for.
Listen. Ma'am. There's music? Here.
Steady like that.
Was that?
Radio.
Well, I guess there's two things they probably didn't tell you because they don't know. Did they show off the doorway over here? Did they tell you what that actually was?
They didn't tell us about the alley at all.
Yeah.
They didn't tell the story of the doctor?
Or is that from before?
That was from a different one, not the
Not last
That's the
night.
one we
Last
saw.
night.
So she doesn't know.
Okay, I'll go through it. It's quick. They make it a big 15-minute. So there's a doctor, Joseph Brown Ladd, moved here from Rhode Island. He's supposed to get married to his fiancee Amanda. Amanda had a ton of money because she inherited it from her dead parents. The attorney handling that money said, "You're not getting married yet, send the doctor away." He moves to Charleston. The coachman that brings him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. Not a very good start. Ralph Isaacs walks by, sees what's happening, and says, "Let me take you somewhere else." Takes him to 59 Church Street, a mile and a half away, and he says, "Here's a nice safe place for you to stay." Now, the two become friends, but the doctor's moving up in society because his practice takes over as a doctor. So he's making lots of money, and he becomes known as a whistling doctor. Amanda's going to be moving down soon, and he's proving to her attorney that he doesn't want her just for her money. So him and Ralph go see plays together, they sit in the same seats, because the doctor's in a higher society. So they talk about these plays on the way home, they talk about a new actress in town, the doctor loved her, Ralph did not. And Rhode Island, so obviously it escalates, they go separate ways. Ralph, having ties to Charleston, puts an ad in the paper that the doctor is a disgrace to the city of Charleston. He's not from here, takes all our money, he's too expensive. The doctor rebuttals with, "Let's go to Dueler's Alley," which is what this used to be called. So it's Philadelphia Alley now. So they come down here, and this is where it normally stops. There's a doorway on the opposite wall over here. So we'll kind of wait a few minutes and wait for him to take his group elsewhere, disperse. At the wall over there, normally if a duel ended in a death, the loser would be taken through that door, the doorway, over the courtyard, over to the cemetery, drop the body in a pre-dug grave, and go celebrate the winner. That's usually how things went if there was a death. So here's what happened with the doctor. They come down, they take their 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to make sure he was proving his point. It's kind of what duels were. About bravery. However, Ralph takes 2 shots below the knees on the doctor. The doctor drops. Instead of carrying him through the doorway, his friends carry him home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later. Now, they say you can hear the doctor's whistles as you walk through here. This is where you turn your audio up. I'm going to stay away from those spirit boxes. And they also say you can hear gunshots, but I haven't caught any gunshots yet. So, another little tidbit in history besides the death gate, as I like to call it. The bricks we're going to walk on, we're going to go this way. They get older. These ones down here were refreshed and renewed in the 1990s. They're sharper, they're more flat, so forth and so on. But we have sun-dried bricks by slave kids at the end. So they literally had to turn those bricks to sun-dry them because they weren't fired. So We have our fingerprints, and we have one full handprint at the end. It's not a proud part of our history, but it's still there to show how far we've come. The handprint, actually the thumbprint, goes over into the next brick. So if you think about what actually happened when that kid laid that brick, it went in wet. And he slammed his hand into it, kind of a screw you, I don't want to do this anymore. So if you guys want pictures of it, be quick. It is outside somebody's home. So their address is Philadelphia Alley. So if you don't want to be lingering outside somebody's dining room. And they're gorgeous. And they do share there's two houses at the end, so we'll kind of cut the spirit boxes once we get close to it, just so that we're not disturbing anybody. They do share a courtyard. It's a great picture of the event. Halfway down, there's a plaque that tells why it's called Philadelphia Alley. It's because after dueling became illegal and stupid, we named it after a city that bailed us out of a fire.
Yeah. I have a chronic cough. Yeah.
But if you line up the plaque just right and stand far back, you can get the St. Philip's steeple lined up perfectly with the plaque. You just have to stand up against the wall. There's like 3 little steps there. Sorry, you seem like a picture taker. I'm showing you all the good spots.
Yeah.
Also, if it's empty, this is one of the most beautiful spots in Charleston. It really is. And it's always this bunch. Yes, with the fake whistles. They're going to give you fake ones. There's a lot of hecklers in town. So, there's another fake one. So that way you guys, when you listen to your audio, it's not going to be loud. It's going to be fake. And it'll probably be a melody.
Some people would do whisper, or
I just heard a whistle.
yeah, I heard a whistle too. Really?
Yeah.
Unless it was Tom back there. He's my heckler. So, I do hear another tour down there. So, usually this place on a Saturday night, like we're fighting. That's why I tell the story out here. Because I don't want to get involved. Yeah. I make it free for you guys. So we have clues for your spirit boxes and all that. They're making it a big storytelling.
Yeah.
So, it's cool if somebody closed the gate. So, we're going to have that creepy gate open for your audio.
Right here, huh?
What's that?
80. Yeah, it might have been that close.
We're cutting through other groups just to get spirit boxes.
What's that?
That's the courtyard.
Yeah, so they would go through the courtyard. The gate wasn't here. It's not original. The doorway is through here and then to the left over to St. Philip's. Calhoun is buried on the western side, so you don't sit at his sarcophagus is actually above ground. They moved it several times trying to figure out if he was an actual citizen. An interesting part of it.
Colbert. I heard Dorothy. Dorothy?
Dorothy, something like that.
We'll take it. When we cut through that group, we're going to definitely keep the spirit boxes off. So they already don't like me.
These people?
All of them. There's not many. Like, I'm not a favorite among the four guys in the
Yeah, do in there, honey.
because I'm so different. They're
Except
all
you don't have a first and fifth.
I come along and start giving you guys toys. Like,
Yeah, you're good.
Why are you getting your radio? Okay.
big brick building that we're actually next to. I usually go over to that corner so at least have a little bit of light. This is the Wagner building. People live here now. These are condos in the back and a wedding reception area in front. Good luck to those weddings. They're going to be cursed. No thank you. So this used to be a cotton warehouse in the back, and then the offices for that business were in the front. So the last guy who owned this is a cotton warehouse. His name was George Poirier. George inherited the business from his dad. No clue what he was doing. Silver spoon, clueless. Blew through his inheritance pretty quickly, and then he got himself into a bunch of debt with the Americans. So then we have the boll weevil in town. That's a bug that eats cotton. So you can get like insect and all kinds of things. That's interesting too. So he can't sell the cotton crop to Americans because that's where his debt is, and he doesn't want to leave the boll weevil here on the Americans. So he sells it to the British. So again, Peninsula's much skinnier. He can watch that ship roll up. There's only one. They unload it here by the really cool garage doors, by horse and buggy, take it all the way out to the ship. Once it's all loaded, somebody gets too close to the cotton with a pipe. The whole ship catches fire, everybody dies. George watches the whole thing from the second-story floor in front of this building. Now, it's the shadow of a swinging corpse that can be seen on certain nights. Now, your camera can't see through windows, so what are we looking for there? We're looking for the blue windows against the red building to turn a darker blue. That means something from the inside is influencing the glass. I need something colder that way. You're definitely going to be listening to your spirit boxes along the way. I do get another ghost that likes to tag along. 2 blocks up from where we came out of Philadelphia Alley, Wheeler's Alley, is a restaurant called Coogan's Porch. Did you guys eat there yet?
No.
We haven't eaten there, we know that, yeah.
So Coogan's is haunted by the dog. We're not going to get the dog coming through, but we will get Zoe St. Amand, who used to live there.
Yep.
And the sister is Elizabeth.
Right.
So Zoe was a school teacher, so we'll hear words like teach and school and students and kind of things like that. Yes.
She's a teacher.
Oh, that should be interesting. What grade?
Kindergarten.
I was going to guess that. Then you guys would be claiming I was a psychic, and that's not what I'm promoting. So, but Zoe, you can ask her what her house looks like now, and she'll give you the word yellow, because that's what color the restaurant is. She might even give you like food, table, eat, spoon, fork. She won't muster up enough energy to say restaurant. How do I know it's Zoe? Because it's spelled Z-O-E, and it pops up about twice a month for me. So only when I'm over here, never anywhere else. It's only here. So it was the same time period. We're talking late 1800s, early 1900s. That's when all of this went down. So again, they were neighbors. They knew each other. So I don't know if there was a relationship there or not. Crescent. Is it a crescent moon? We have a new quarter moon tomorrow. That's pretty cool. Interesting. Anyway, sorry. I follow moon phases. I'm sure you guys can all imagine. I mean, the new moon is my peak of the month. It's not always the full moon, it's the new moon. Because that's new beginnings. So it's kind of a cycle. Everything starts all over again. It might get grabbed towards the new moon, and then all of a sudden after the new moon, everything spikes. That's kind of how things work out for me. Yeah, we have
Kind of like her with her kindergartners on the 30th. There's a full moon. Yeah. She said they're crazy.
Yeah, sure. Because you got 2 this month, the 1st and the 31st.
Yep.
So Saturday, I'm surprised I'm not booked up already for Halloween.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm at like, I don't know, 40 or 50%, but I usually get a lot of day ofs. So there's usually that last 2 to 4 people, they book it that day of. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, for George, we'll be listening for ship, fire, cotton, workers, bugs, insects, anything like that. With Zoe, it's going to be teach, restaurant words, like I gave you, food table, eat fork. But this is an interesting building. We don't always get something from this building, so it's either both or none. That's usually how this one goes. I know it's a weird last stop, but I try to make this tour circle. It's impossible. Just to get you guys legitimate hauntings. Like it's damn near impossible. And I have other, like, when I have just like a group of 2, I have like all the myths and legends around St. Philip, so I'll take them up there and tell them those stories, but we don't do much of that. As far as actual hauntings, it's just extra stories for them. But let's go check out the front of this building. Definitely listen to your spirit box along the way. EMF's going to go crazy when you get to the front because of the parking meters. So you can pretty much ignore it once we get to the front. So let's see what we get on your spirit boxes. I'm going to stay away from you so I can listen to mine.
The windows to look for. Help me with.
always walking on the street.
That would be Bocce's. Bocce's is close.
They told us that that they that Pepper would have stuck in the
And you got that from the staff?
Some staff things will break or they're caught moving on. I can't remember.
The dog Coogan will pull on the tent leg, and the dog was like, didn't even know Zoe. Zoe didn't know who Coogan was. So the crew that was transitioning it from a house to a restaurant used to feed it straight up.
Oh yeah.
And then they named the dog Coogan. He was a neighborhood dog and he used to hang out there. So when the dog died, they made a memorial on site, and the new owners just decided
You getting anything on your box?
to play Coogan for the dog. They had a good gimmick on it. That's what the dog memorial ring.
Right.
So Zoe never knew the dog.
Well, they said, yeah, Zoe, lots of people that won't let people out of the bathroom.
So
Bathroom.
there's another restaurant over by the market. And it's next to Tommy Condon. It's called Bocce's. It's not there anymore. But in that one, doors won't stay locked at all. So in there, it's like the opposite effect. There was also a mirror that fell in there that didn't break. It was this giant mirror in the restaurant. The server was closing the place down, and she heard a big guy went to check on his toys, and the mirror was on the ground. Completely unbroken. So again, I have my theories, but it's a theory. It wasn't there to see. Now, if I ever, when I do open up my store, it'll be go something equipment and paranormal books and find a hotel upstairs. That would be ideal. Either that or Big John. That would be my book for looking at. So, only gonna be a few million out of pocket, but hey, we'll be happy. Alright, did you get us a little bit of film right here on the second story? And did you hear anything on the spirit box?
This one or this one?
Well, what about you?
I have this.
This is
He's
like
not
the
hearing anything wrong.
Up there, and we have the crosswalk sign. So again, all that stuff is underneath the sign.
All I hear is the radio on her.
Well, that's what she should hear. Again, I'll find stuff in the morning. Whatever actually pops up.
Who heard his name?
This now?
Yeah. Let me see again first. What's this? So here's the top of this building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 43.7 degrees. Same type of stone, 5 feet below it. 60 degrees. Now I normally get excited over like 15 degrees. Sometimes I've seen it go all the way up to 30 degrees in different temperatures. So that means I probably have something going on with your spirit box. So I'll be listening to the end 10 minutes very closely to see what's going on there. Again, we'll collect that from you. You heard your name, you think? That's why I went to cold.
Yeah.
So that's why, and again, we're going to have a breeze, so I would expect 7 to 15 degrees coming in. The talk's going to be a little bit colder, but I'll definitely have to check the video too. So
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to wrap it up thoughts, comments, questions?
That was fun.
That was
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
So the devices, believe it or not, aren't very expensive. There's a link at the top of your data page that takes you right to the whole list of everything I use, including the lasers, and how to get them.
Okay.
And then the apps, there's free versions of all of them. So again, if you wanted to use the apps while you're going to different haunted locations, even when you're going back home, they're a lot of fun, especially the wordless one, because you can keep it on silent and it'll still work.